Well, hello and welcome back. Thanks for coming back. Night time in Paphos. We're dropping down to Connie Village, going to hit the Limassol roundabout, go round that and head deep into downtown Cato Paphos. What we're going to chat about, I'll tell you what we're going to chat about. A new commenter on the channel, Miss Diane, has asked a very, very good question indeed. She loves Cyprus. I think she loves Paphos with all of her heart, but she's concerned about her children if they relocate to Cyprus. She's heard a rumour that, of course, when they grow up that little bit and need to go out into the world and earn a living, that it can be quite difficult. Now, that's true of everywhere in the world that you live, obviously, and of course it does depend from person to person, because of course they're not children anymore, are they? When they get to that magic age of 16, they're in between, should we say, and when they're 18, well, they are adults. Now, I got a feeling that Diane's children are clever children, so they're going to get a great education, which is a good start to any person's life. So I got a feeling that they will come up with something which will make them unique and allow them to go and develop that career and be very, very successful at it. But it's a very good question, isn't it? And the point I think that she's making is perhaps if those children, perhaps they're very clever, but perhaps they don't want to go and be doctors, they don't want to be dentists, they don't want to go and set up their own business, perhaps they want to go and work in a restaurant, work in a bar, perhaps they want to go and, what else could they do? Work in a shop, kiosk, work in the mall. And yeah, unfortunately, on the island of love, this is one of the negative parts. Now, I don't like to talk about negativity, but it is a fact that the actual amount of pay that you can expect to get working in, for example, a shop in the mall, working in a kiosk, working in normal jobs, yeah, you're probably only going to earn somewhere between 1,000, maybe 1,200 euros, maybe if you're very lucky, 1,500 euros per month. Now, the cost of living in Cyprus is not quite as expensive as it is in, say, Germany, should we say, in France, Italy, and of course the UK. So that is a lot more, shall we say, flexible and allows you to get much more for your euro in Cyprus. In the UK, should we pick on that, because obviously that's where Diane's from, obviously that individual working in that shop is going to earn, I think it's around about £11.50 an hour, isn't it? So on a 40-hour week, they're not far off £500, perhaps with an hour or two of overtime. So if we translate that into pounds on a monthly basis, we are up to over £2,000 a month. And of course, £2,000 a month is around about 2,000, should we say, 400-ish euros. So yeah, working in the UK, working in France, working in Germany, you will earn approximately 35 to 45% more. But bear in mind the cost of living is higher in those countries. But there is an elephant in the classroom, isn't it? And of course that elephant is property prices. Now, again, in the UK, in certain parts of Germany, France, Italy, etc., the property prices are very, very high, and pro rata, yes, you've guessed it, they are pro rata high in Cyprus. So very, very difficult indeed for someone who earns, shall we say, a normal wage, even if there's two of them, to find their foot on the property ladder. So yeah, it's one of these little taboo subjects. No one wants to talk about it, do they? And I don't want to insult Cyprus as a country, and I don't want to insult the population of Cyprus, but yes, as people's children grow up and become into adults, they've got to come up with something that makes them special. And of course, in today's world, we've got the thing called the internet. So a lot of young people are very, very tech savvy indeed. Perhaps they've not thought about this, but perhaps they could start something so simple as teaching English. Or if they've been educated for quite a few years, let's say in Cyprus, they probably would speak fluent Greek. And there are a lot of people around the world that want to learn Greek, and they would prefer to learn Greek off one of their native language teachers. So let's say if you are of British origin and let's say you came to Cyprus at, let's say, the age of 12, 13, 14, somewhere around there, I'm pretty sure that by the time you are 18, 19, 20, if you put your nous to it, you will be fluent in Greek. And then there is an opportunity for you to teach Greek lessons or come up with some crazy idea for a YouTube channel and just do silly Greek sayings, these kind of things. Shorts, for example, if you put your back into it and enough effort into it, that will become a full-time income. And then of course you can go and do a sideline hustle, as they say in American English, and to keep that going, work at that kiosk, work at that bar, work at that restaurant, while you come up with another idea. There are lots of opportunities on the island of love, but this is one of the opportunities that I think a lot of people don't see. Okay, so they just don't see it. They tend to think, I don't want to insult anyone, but they tend to have blinkers on and think, well, that's it, I can only work in a kiosk. If that's what you want to do, of course that's what you will do. But take the blinkers off and think and start to understand what uniqueness that you could bring to the world. And this applies to a lot of people, doesn't it? Now, I'm not trying to say that I'm unique. That's not what I'm trying to say. I've come up with a few ideas over my path in life, and luckily, they've managed to keep me afloat. Never been a rich man, but never been a poor man either. So if most of us can go on that path in their life, when that day comes, you know what I'm talking about, and you end up in a box or whatever, you can look back and say, I had a pretty good life. And I can honestly say that I've had a fantastic life, right from my very, very start, ups and downs along the way, obviously, like all of us have had, but I've not regretted a single moment. I've had a fantastic, fantastic life, and eventually found myself on the island of love 16 years ago. And again, found myself with that problem, Diane. Yes, how do I earn a living? And I realised very, very quickly indeed that working for somebody else in Cyprus was not going to work out very, very well indeed. And like I say, this is no insult to anybody. Unfortunately, we live in a society in Cyprus where there are rich people and there are poor people. And that's the sad state of the world, unfortunately. But people who, I'm not going to say are clever, they come up with a solution to the problem, or they stay with the problem, shall we say. So I'm not going to go on about it that much. What I'm going to say to you is, yes, if you come to Cyprus, lots of people come here in the summer, for example, 18, 19 years of age, male and female, and they get jobs in hotels, they get jobs in bars. But of course, that period of employment only lasts maybe 6, 7, 8 months. The pay is not very good. But of course, those people are enjoying the experience of seeing a new country. And then perhaps next year they go to Spain, and the following year they go to Mallorca. And then they decide, I'm 24, I'm 25, now I'm going to use my life experience and come up with something and do something. And that's what I say to a lot of young people that I meet, that you've got to come up with something. Don't rely on the world to look after you. If you've got a rich mum and dad, well, that's wonderful. But to be honest, wouldn't it be better, perhaps to take some of their money, but then to go and do something on your own and perhaps turn their money into an awful lot of money? And then, of course, when you look back, or your mum and dad look back, they can say, well, okay, I gave you a helping hand, but in all fairness, hats off to you. You achieved the dream that I wanted you to achieve. Because all parents, it doesn't matter how successful they are, it doesn't matter what profession they're in, if they're right at the top of the game, they want their children to exceed them even more. And of course, sometimes that's very, very difficult if your parents are at the top of that tree. But of course, you can go and find another branch on another tree and move to the very, very top of that tree. Downtown Cape Paphos is coming up. We are going to head out to Rikos Beach because I got a feeling that the stars are going to be twinkling on the blue Mediterranean Sea. And we'll talk a little bit more about this subject because I know it is a big subject in the hearts of many parents who, let's say, could be in their mid-40s, or perhaps children later in their life in their mid-50s, who are thinking about relocating, not just to Cyprus, because this applies to Spain, to Portugal, to any other country in the world, because your children could be at a disadvantage, because of course they're not in with the culture. But it's not just your children, it's the Cypriot children that are in exactly the same position, unless their parents are able to give them, shall we say, a little lift up, or unless they come up with some unique idea. And there are many, many Cypriots in their early 20s who have gone on to make a fortune with poor parents. Perhaps they worked very, very hard in school, went to college, went to university, or perhaps they saw a gap in the market and started off with the simplest of ideas. Perhaps just on a street trader, selling something on the street, and they took that money and put it into something else, and then that money into something else. And that's how a person, we're not going to use the word entrepreneur. There's not many people who are going to get the luck of Zuckerberg, Facebook, the man in charge of course, Amazon. He was at the right place at the right time, had luck and had money. So probably nobody is going to do that again. But there is always a niche. There is always something. Tourism is huge in Cyprus, in particular in Paphos. So sit down and think of something. And it hasn't got to be unique. All you've got to do is put your twist on it and do it better. And if you can do that over a period of time, your income will grow, and you could become that perfect person driving that Jeep Safari, for example. Yeah, you'll have competitors, but if you're the best, and you could even charge a little bit more and give them a little bit of a twist, that could be your way, perhaps on the island of love, to make a living as a 23, 24-year-old person. But there's many opportunities. You've got to take those blinkers off, and you've got to think very, very hard indeed. And there are many people, and I'm not insulting anybody, I'm not clever at all, but people have told me, my father told me, that luckily for me, I am able to read people, and I am able to, the word manipulate is not correct, but to give them something that they want. And normally in return, they will give me something. And that's the way business works. And a lot of people don't like that word money, but everybody has got to earn money. If you go and work in a kiosk and you hate it, and let's say for your 10-hour shift, you get paid 50 euros. Yes, you heard me correctly, 5 euros or thereabouts an hour. In many cases, less. And in many cases, they'll ask you to do more hours for that money. But think of it as a stepping stone to the next thing that you're going to do, rather than thinking it of, oh my God, it's terrible, my life is bad, I'm not getting paid enough money. Prove to that person that's running that kiosk, that clothes shop, that you are the one that could be the manager, that you are the one that he should open another kiosk for. And that's being sexist, because obviously that owner could be a she. So you prove to that person that you're worth it. And you know what? You might find that they will open that kiosk. They might open that extra branch of that shop and make you the manager. And again, reward that by giving your utmost and stay there for 3 or 4 years. Learn and learn and learn. And while you're at it, put something aside. Even if it's only 10 euros a week, put it aside, so that in a few years' time you've got 1,000, a couple of thousand, and think very, very hard what you're going to do with it. And not a holiday, not a car, something else that's going to take you to that next level. Now, I've gone on enough, and I understand it's very, very hard for people to comprehend what I am saying. And again, I'm not insulting anybody. Lots of people work for other people all of their lives, and lots of people are very, very happy indeed. And lots of people, through hard work and perhaps a little bit of luck, move up that ladder. And hopefully, If you are a young person and your mother and father are relocating to Cyprus, to Spain, to Portugal, you see it as an advantage and you see it as an opportunity rather than a negative. Because yes, you may only be 13, 14 now and looking forward to going in the blue Mediterranean Sea, dipping in mum and dad's swimming pool. But remember, just around the corner, you are going to be let go and you have got to find a way to earn a living. And to be honest, yes, Miss Diane, your children are not going to make a living if they set their hearts on working in a clothes shop, set their hearts on working in a hotel. No, but it could be a stepping stone, and they've got to use their intelligence and their imagination and perhaps a little bit of your help to get to that next stage. And there are opportunities in Cyprus. Anybody can set up a YouTube channel, for example. Doesn't cost you a single penny. And remember, a lot of people focus on YouTube, for example, and always think of the guys that are making a fortune from their views. That's the wrong way to look at it, because all of those people worked very, very hard indeed and built that channel. But there are other ways to make money via a little YouTube channel. Open your eyes, take the blinkers off, and start to think around your YouTube channel, around your Facebook page, around your Instagram page. There are other ways that you can make that little bit of chump change. And again, put that chump change into something else and progress slowly. We're not all going to be driving a Bentley within 6 months. We're probably not even going to be pedaling on a push bike. You've got to set your sights realistically. Anyway, I'm going to say a big thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed what I've had to say, and I hope that most people have understood what I've got to say. And I've not insulted anyone. I don't mean to insult anyone. I'm trying to help and I'm trying to guide, in particular, the younger people, because most of the people who will come to, should we say, semi-retire, to retire to Cyprus or Spain or Portugal, somewhere like that, have already got something in place. Perhaps they might go work part-time as a pool cleaner, do a bit of cleaning, that kind of things to tide themselves over. But of course, in a few years' time, their pensions are going to kick in, or an inheritance, or whatever it might be. But of course, those younger ones don't have that privilege just yet. Well, unless they come up with a plan to get rid of you, shall we say. Let's park up and hopefully you can see into the darkness. I don't think you can, but there you go. That is Rikos Beach. I promise you, in the daytime, it's blue. Everything's blue in Cyprus. The sky is blue. Mr. Paul is dressed head to toe in blue. All that's missing is you. So come on, get yourself on a big bird or a canoe. Start paddling like crazy, because Paphos, Cyprus, Marika and me, you've guessed it, we're waiting, and we really are, especially for you. And of course, if you do like what you see, please hit that like, smash that subscribe. It doesn't cost you a single penny. And if you'd like to gift us a virtual coffee or two via the Buy Me a Coffee platform, please go through to our About page and click on the link. And we do thank you very much. Or Google Marika and me, Buy Me a Coffee. Up will come our page. Or perhaps go through to our Facebook page, Marika and me, Paphos, Cyprus, or Marika and me, Lounge Bar. And I think there's a naughty Baroness and a Baron called Steve, and of course that's Baroness Heather, who's set up a little, what should we call it, an adventure for Mr. Paul. Yeah, she wants him to dress in a colour other than blue. Go and check it out on our Facebook page, please, and put your comments. I think I look good in blue, don't you? And of course, the Marika Lounge Bar is rapidly coming along. Hopefully you're following us on our updates. And please don't forget, if you'd like to get involved in it, if you'd like to get your name on the Wall of Fame, on the Hollywood staircase, all you've got to do is hunt down Paul G. Cyprus on PayPal in the search box. And of course, you could gift us £50 for your name on a brick, £100 for your name on a swinging star, which is groovy on our ceiling, by the way, or perhaps to have your name on a plaque on the bar for £150. We thank you truly from the bottom of our two hearts. And we'd like to say a massive, massive thank you to Lady Minka for not only joining us as a superstar member on the Buy Me a Coffee platform, but wanting her name on a block, on the Wall of Fame, on the Hollywood staircase. Thank you very much for watching. If you've got something that you'd like my opinion on, please drop it in the comments, and that video will be coming again very, very soon indeed, especially if you do. This was for Miss Diane, and I got a feeling there's quite a few people, hopefully, that will enjoy it as well. Thanks for watching. Oh, let's light the little boy cigar. Because it's time for me to say, yeah, life is good on the island of love.